Hey guys, this is Fallon, and I wanted to discuss with y'all Down syndrome and kind of what you'll see and what you'll run across with individuals with these different disabilities. Now, you'll see different physical and cognitive abnormalities that have an adverse effect on the individual's overall health. Now, I want to discuss the different physical, cognitive effects, as well as the health concerns that you'll run across, and then also different therapeutic interventions that we can do as therapists, future therapists, and just getting the overall understanding of how kids with Down syndrome view themselves, so we can better manage their therapy and our interactions with them. Down syndrome is a genetically linked disorder where there is an extra copy of the 21st chromosome. Now, each individual has two pairs of chromosomes, 23 from the father, 23 from the mother, giving 46 total chromosomes. Now, individuals with Down syndrome have an extra copy, so in total they have 47 chromosomes. Now, there is three forms of Down syndrome. One of those being trisomy 21, which is prevalent in 95% of the population and is caused by failure of either the sperm or the egg's 21st chromosome to split, causing the extra third copy of the 21st chromosome. We normally have two copies of that 21st chromosome, one from the mother, one from the father. Translocation happens in 4% of the population with Down syndrome and is a partial or full copy of the 21st chromosome, which is attaches to chromosome number 14. And lastly, mochicism is prevalent in 1%. It's a mixture of both the trisomy 21 as well as the translocation Down syndrome type. Next, we're going to touch base on the physical deformities that you will see in individuals with Down syndrome. The first three here that you see on the slide are the most prevalent. So upslanting of the eyes, upper eyelid folds, and hypotonia are the three main things that you will see when you come in contact with an individual with Down syndrome. Now, the upslanting of the eyes and the upper eyelid folds, you can see here on the picture of this little boy. However, hypotonia, you cannot. Hypotonia is also known as floppy baby, which is from weak muscles. So you will see really bad postures with individuals with Down syndrome. Now, also, you'll see flattened faces. They also have short stature and ear deformities. Next, we're going to cover different health concerns that we will see with individuals with Down syndrome. One of those being congestive heart disease. Congestive heart disease is from a malfunction of the tricuspid valve and atrioventricular septa. Septa meaning holes. So, holes in the heart. This is due in part to the specific phenotype Down syndrome individuals carry. Now, formations of holes in the heart will increase blood flow to the lungs in the right side of the heart. The increased flow to the heart will cause a rise in blood pressure, and the rise in blood pressure can cause congestive heart failure from the overwork and overproduction of the heart. Hearing can be partial impairment or a total loss and is due to a chronic middle ear condition. Next is vision impairments. This is due from childhood cataracts that they develop. Alzheimer's disease. Now, this is very interesting because I did not know Down syndrome and Alzheimer's had a correlation with one another, but it is due to the overproduction of the amyloid precursor, which leads to a overproduction of amyloid and tau plaque on the 21st chromosome. Now, the amyloid and tau plaque are the type plaques that are seen in the brain for individuals with Alzheimer's, and they are also present in Down syndrome, which gives them the increased likelihood of developing dementia and Alzheimer's. Last of all, sleep apnea, which occurs in 45 to 79% of the population of individuals with Down syndrome. Now, sleep apnea is a form of sleep disorder breathing, and this is from hypotonia, enlarged tongue, and weak muscles. Hypotonia is the leading cause of the decrease in the flow of oxygen to the lungs. Now, individuals suffering from this may have to have what is called a CPAP machine, which stands for continuous positive airway pressure, which can help regulate the amount of oxygen that the individual gets at night, helping them to sleep better. Next off is cognitive delay. Now, individuals with Down syndrome need more time to collect, process, interpret, and manage information. This is because of enlarged dendritic spines interrupting synapse formation, causing low levels of nerve impulses, which leads to behavioral and learning difficulties. Now, to refresh your memory, if you'll look at this top picture here, if y'all don't remember, this is a neuron, and the top of the neuron, the branch-like projections off of the neuron are the dendrites. Now, if you zoom in, like we did on the second picture here, this shows a blown-up picture of a dendrite. Now, the little projections coming off of the dendrite are the dendritic spines. Now, this is what I was referring to, which would enlarge and cause an interruption of the impulses through the synapse, and the synapse being the little gap right there in the center of that red circle. Individuals with Down syndrome also have different motor deficits. They are very clumsy individuals because of the lack of feedback for balance control, and they have an instability in coordination due to hypotonia. Other difficulties that you may see in individuals with Down syndrome, and that we also may have to help individuals do, not necessarily in physical therapy, but more along the lines of occupational therapy, is fine motor skills such as grasping. They have a hard time grasping objects. They also have difficulty sitting up due to lack of trunk support and muscle strength, as well as standing and walking. There are several forms of therapeutic interventions that can be utilized for individuals with Down syndrome, one of those being physical therapy. Now, physical therapists focus more on the gross functioning motor skills of these individuals. You will see balance exercises, strengthening weak muscles, posture correction, as well as gait correction within the physical therapy realm. Now, occupational therapists will focus more on the fine motor skills, grasping, increasing hand grip and motion, so that these individuals can achieve activities of daily living, such as grooming themselves and dressing themselves. Hippotherapy, for an example, targets all aspects of fine and gross motor skills. Hippotherapy is a horse-related therapy that involves coordination, balance, and trunk control to stay upright and on the horse. Now, with this, individuals can throw a ball to their therapist, or they can reach around the horse and grab different objects, reaching across their body. They also ride in 3 different ways: forward riding, side riding, where they are facing off to the side, as well as backwards riding, to help trigger different muscle groups to get stronger. Lastly, we need to understand individuals who have Down syndrome and how they perceive themselves, others, and their disorder that they have. Now, individuals with Down syndrome on a survey and questionnaire showed a positive view of themselves, others, as well as their life. Some individuals didn't even know that they had a disability, or they didn't come to the realization that they had a disability. So this is what we need to keep in mind when working with these individuals, is to be positive and not focus on their disabilities and their deficits, but focus on how we can make them better in a positive way and how they can function better. It is proven that early intervention with kids with Down syndrome can improve their workability and their learning abilities as well. A lot of individuals will go on to live normal lives like we do, holding a job and going to school.